7 p.m. So we still have about 30 minutes of this warning still in effect. But yes, Damon, a Friday night, lots of people are about to head out. It looks like some things are starting to roll into the chat. So I'm about to check the chat to see if we have any more updates.
Okay, yeah, and I'll try to fill in here. If you can flip over to velocity very quickly, I just want to show where that possible rotation is, if we possibly can. Folks, yeah, we're trying our best to keep you all informed as we can with these warnings coming in. Very fluid situation, especially as these storms continue to develop. But the National Weather Service, again, I think more so than anything, they wanted to extend this warning out of precaution because this storm, though it's not showing a lot right now on velocity, what we're looking for are those greens and reds coming together. This is right about where we'd have that possible area of rotation. It would be between Boyd's Mill and Browntown, and it'd be moving off to the north and east, just past Arco, just past Hundy near the Route 522 corridor, and then that would eventually place it up toward Harold Corner, Markham, right south of that I-66 corridor, now starting to drift past Rappahannock County into Fauquier County then at this point. So again, the velocity is not really showing anything significant, but this storm has had a history since the first warning was put into place of producing that rotation. This starts to spin up, it lets up, but then it can strengthen once again, and that rotation tracker shows just that. All these light greens you're seeing here, that history of rotation coming off of this storm, and it has not shown any signs of letting up completely yet. So again, shouting out, we have Hundley coming in next, Harold Corner, Belle Meade, Hume, Asheville, Delaplane. You're all within this tornado warning. So try to find a safe place if you can. Just listen to the sound of our voice, get to that basement, get to that interior room, protect your head from flying debris, protect yourself in general from flying debris if you can. And again, you have about 15-20 minutes or so to try to get to your safe place. I'm trying to give you as much heads up as possible. So again, this is now starting to track into a very populated part of that I-66 corridor. So we need to watch this extremely closely. Again, this new tornado warning goes until 7 p.m. and it includes Rappahannock, it includes parts of Madison, Fauquier counties as well. And Brittany, does this extend up into Clark County at all?
So it does not extend into the tornado warning, no, okay. But they did issue a severe thunderstorm warning. Yeah, right so that's what I was about to pull up in the chat. It looks like the severe thunderstorm warning also includes Fauquier County, Virginia, Madison, Culpeper, Rappahannock, as well as Warren, Virginia. So I'm going to put reflectivity back on for you, Damon, and then kind of just zoom out so you could see the wider picture of this storm system.
Okay, yeah, Brittany, and I heard from the back here, our producer, Nat, pulling up a traffic cam. If we could pull that up potentially. This is along I-66. It is near, and if somebody can, Front Royal again. Okay, so there's the view that we do have in the box just off to my left there. Looks like we have just some very soggy roadways. I know Front Royal was on the very edge of this. Some of the rainfall, at least though, producing some slick roadways. And you see right there are a lot of people traveling on the highways, potentially just trying to get home from work or at least just trying to head out for the weekend potentially. So that is why we got to take these warnings extremely seriously. Folks are just trying to get their weekend started, but we're dealing with some of this severe weather and trying to keep as many of you informed as possible. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. So Front Royal, there it is. That was that traffic camera right on the northern edge of this storm where some of that steadier rain is coming down. But thankfully, Front Royal is not included within this tornado warning, at least not as of right now. So here we go. We're zooming back down. Brittany pulling up the velocity for us once again, and not a strong sign of rotation, but nonetheless, it is more than enough to potentially be causing some issues. I'd say we have that area of rotation still moving out of Boyd's Mill, moving over toward Arco and that Route 522 corridor. But regardless, if we have a tornado on the ground or not, there you go. 55, 60 mile per hour winds, straight line winds could easily be enough to knock down trees, knock down power lines. We are concerned for that threat as well. And there's likely to be some small hail in the mix. That torrential rain could cause some major problems. Flooding's been a concern for these last few weeks here in the DMV, and there we have it on Hail Tracker. Not a lot, not the largest hail maker we've had, but it is certainly something to pay attention to. So again, Brittany, this is why we're watching this closely. If this does make it to the I-66 corridor, that could be a little bit concerning, especially if this does strengthen back up once again.
Yeah, you know, it's a Friday night, Damon. Lots of people are either heading home or they are on their way to make their Friday night plans. So if you are just tuning in, we do have a new tornado warning that's in effect for Fauquier County, as well as Rappahannock County, Virginia, and Warren, Virginia. This is set to expire about 7 p.m. We are keeping an eye out on this storm as it continues to move east. Could potentially hit that I-66 corridor. So if you know anyone in those areas, let them know it's time for them to get into their safe place. That could be an interior room as well as a basement. You just want to limit yourself from any windows, and you also want to be protecting your head. Now, as of now, Damon, it doesn't look like we have any new information right now in the chat. Still looking, nothing new has come in, but overall, not only are we dealing with the threat of a tornado, Damon, we're also dealing with some heavier downpours as these storms continue to work their way across the region. So I'm just going to zoom out, Damon, if you want to talk more about the rest of the region, because they're not the only people that are seeing storms at this hour.
Exactly, and Brittany brings up a very good point. We are watching this throughout the night, not just for the threat of tornadoes, but we have a flood watch as well in effect across the entire DMV until we get into Saturday morning. So heavy rain continues to be an issue, gusty winds, that small hail, all of it. And we have multiple clusters of storms ongoing across the DMV right now. That is our one active warning. I will say it is showing signs of weakening, so that is some good news, at least with that batch. But here's where we have to watch. We have another batch of thunderstorms. None of this is severe warned, but it's down along the I-95 corridor, and we have multiple cells drifting their way up right into the district. This is just starting to cross the beltway between Springfield and moving up toward Alexandria as well. So some very heavy rain has now entered southern Prince George's County, parts of Fairfax County as well, and eventually the district will be feeling the impacts of this as well. So any of those of you trying to get out for your Friday night plans, be aware it's about to get pretty stormy and noisy for the next hour or two. Drifting north, we do have that one thunderstorm that is still over Montgomery County for the most part. This could be packing a little bit of a punch with some hail potentially involved just outside of Rockville, moving into Aspen Hill. But either way, very torrential rain. Yeah, there you go. We do have some hail in the mix there, but it is not warned by the National Weather Service. No severe thunderstorm warning is attached to this, but still, we want to watch out for that as it moves toward Maryland 200 there, along parts of Aspen Hill and Allenwood. And then if we zoom back out even farther, we do have that line of storms that is producing this tornado warning. It's starting to come together in a little bit of a line, and if anything, we could see this track over toward the district as well, tornado warning or not, over the next hour or two, and that could lead to another round of very stormy conditions. So we're just shortly after 6:30 here, folks. You're watching DC News Now at 6. We've been doing continuous coverage for about the last 45 minutes to an hour as we've had this one tornado warning be persistent across the DMV here, and we still have this active warning that again includes parts of Madison, parts of Fauquier counties as well, and parts of Rappahannock just near Front Royal there with this active warning until 7 p.m. So we're watching this part of the line. But Brittany, at least if we could pull up velocity, I really do think this is starting to really fall apart, and that could mean that we see this expired a little bit before 7 p.m. at least.
Yeah, I do agree with you. Putting on base velocity, Damon, it doesn't look like we're seeing that couplet, and then even looking up higher in the atmosphere, not really seeing that couplet come together, but we could be dealing with some damage in winds. Going back to the surface of base velocity, we are seeing those higher colors, and that indicates stronger winds, especially at the surface. So you could be dealing with some straight line winds that could still be causing some damage across the area. Radar indicated it looks like we are seeing winds about 54 miles per hour just west of Huntley of 522. So again, Friday night, lots of people are either heading home or they are on their way to start their Friday night plans. You want to make sure you are staying weather aware. If you're just tuning in to DC News Now, we do have a tornado warning right now that is in effect for Fauquier County as well as Rappahannock County, Virginia, and Warren County. It does does look like the newest information into the chat. They are going to continue that tornado warning until about 7 o'clock. Latest information is there's a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado that was located near Linden, Virginia, or about 7 miles southeast of Front Royal, moving northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So again, Damon, this is radar indicated. This could be packing a punch as most people may be traveling home or ready to start their Friday night plans.
Yeah, and Brittany, there haven't been any storm reports coming in, right? The National Weather Service hasn't had any sort of storm reports.
The one storm report, it looks like we are seeing some trees down in Rockingham, Virginia, right along Rush Lane and Indian Trail Road.
Okay.
And that is the one storm report that has come in so far.
Okay, so that just means, yeah, they may be a little bit behind with all of this, but if we're not seeing anything immediate, that is a little bit of a good sign. Maybe this tornado did not make it to the ground. Again, we can see this rotation higher up in the atmosphere. Doesn't mean it reaches the ground, which is what we are hoping for in these scenarios. But again, we still got to take it seriously with this active warning until about 7 p.m. Back in the back, we have a camera as well that looks out over parts of Strasburg near I-81. That's back towards some of this heavier rainfall. This is not involving the tornado warning. If we'd be able to, if we could pull that up potentially. Again, we are watching this tornado warning, this area of rotation closely, but the heavier rain is still a concern. We are still dealing with a flood watch that goes until 7 or at least 7 a.m. for many parts of the DMV. A little bit earlier for some it will wrap up, but heavy rain and possible flooding could be a bit of an issue. But here we go. There's that active tornado warning still ongoing until 7 p.m. We are going to stay on the air until this warning drops, or even a little bit after, to make sure everybody's informed. There's that camera just down off to the side of the screen there. A lot of the cars kicking up that fresh rainfall, so you can clearly see the impact it's having, making those roadways very slick. There could be ponding as well. So outside of any potential severe impacts, that is going to be enough of a headache for all of those commuters, plenty of them there on the I-81 corridor. So yeah, we're watching that area of heavier rainfall, but no warning up near the Strasburg area. Our main concern continues to be this part of the line that is tornado warned, and it's now starting to get to the I-66 corridor, but these latest scans keep coming in, and at least for the time being, Brittany, I don't think we have as much of a couplet any longer. Can we flip over to velocity there? A little bit of something trying to come together, especially south of Harold Corner here, but I mean, all in all, it looks like this is a lot less intense than it was just about 20-30 minutes ago.
Yeah, it does look like it is starting to break apart, Damon, but we're still going to be dealing with some straight line winds with this system. So gusty winds expected, radar indicated winds of about 60 miles per hour. And again, it's a Friday night, so people are going to be out and about. You just want to make sure you are staying weather aware. Now, if you are tuning in, we do have a tornado warning in effect for Fauquier County. This is set to expire about 7 p.m. this evening. I'm going to pull up the chat. Doesn't look like any new information has come in, but a few of the cities that could potentially be impacted by this tornadic storm is Central Warren, North Central Rappahannock, and Northwestern Fauquier County. So if you are hearing my voice, if you know anyone in these locations, you may want to give them the heads up to get in their safe space, Damon. I am going to zoom out the radar because, again, this is not the only areas that we are seeing some storms. This is just the only tornado warning that we are seeing at this hour. But zooming out to show you the rest of the region, Damon, we are seeing a few storms bubble up across portions of the DMV, and we do still have that tornado watch in effect until about midnight tonight, closer to the district, and then that flood watch until tomorrow morning.
Yeah, Brittany, so I'm going to go over these storms really quick. If we can, after this, let's pull up those watches. I want to show exactly what we're talking about in terms of the wide scope of this impact. So here are all those thunderstorms that are going on right now. We just have the one active warning back across portions of Madison, Fauquier counties. That tornado warning still goes until 7 p.m. But we do have these clusters of thunderstorms that stretch from Carroll and Frederick counties in Maryland straight down into the district and along that I-95 corridor. None of this is warned as of yet, but we could see see that change, we got to be on our toes here for the next few hours. Brittany, let's flip over if we can. I want to show first off where that tornado watch is, and then we'll show the flood watch. There we go. That tornado watch remains in place until midnight, especially for all counties east of the I-81 corridor, including the district. This red box you see there, that's the active warning that we have going on. Now, when it comes to the flood watch, that's been in place since yesterday, and it will be in place through the rest of the night tonight into early on Saturday morning, 6 a.m. for the district, 6 a.m. for many parts of the DMV. But that is an underrated part of this whole setup that we need to always emphasize. Hey, we've had heavy rain all month long, and as these storms continue to bring some heavy downpours, this flood watch remains in place because we could see areas of flooding, flash flooding straight through the night, even as the severe storms are gone. So those are the couple of different things we are paying attention to as we head into the overnight hours. But again, the main reason we're still on here, it's 6:45 now. As you continue to watch DC News Now at 6, we do have this active tornado warning, but I believe
they
yes.
just canceled it. Let me pause radar. Yeah, it looks like they have canceled that tornado warning that was in place. Still have that severe thunderstorm warning though in place for Fauquier County.
Okay, good. So the tornado warning has been dropped. We are now in the clear across Madison, Rappahannock, and Fauquier counties from a tornado threat. But like Brittany just mentioned, we do have this very massive severe thunderstorm warning. Still goes for this part of the line that stretches from just outside of Culpeper straight up toward Delaplane along that Route 17 corridor. This severe thunderstorm warning goes until 7:15 p.m. And we're talking about the threat of 60+ mile-per-hour winds, small hail, and that torrential rain that could lead to some flooding. So that's the one active severe thunderstorm warning. No longer do we have any tornado warning. So let's give a quick overview and then we'll head back to the news here at 6. But one last check. Again, we have these clusters of storms. One has already spawned a tornado warning that you saw right there, stayed in effect for about an hour, and we will continue to have that possibility as we head throughout the next several hours into the night, and we'll be here tracking it if any other warnings come up. But there you go. We have these clusters of thunderstorms, and we have some very heavy rain, some frequent lightning, but no active warnings at this moment across the I-95 corridor into the district. But heavy rain is coming down through Mount Vernon and back toward Newington. We're just starting to see a heavier downpour. It just moved through Alexandria, but oh, there you go. Brittany, real quick. Can you give me that
I was going to say the newest warning that just came in. This is a severe thunderstorm warning that includes the District of Columbia, so DC, Prince George's County, as well as Charles County, Arlington County, Fairfax, and the city of Alexandria. Now, this is set to expire at 6:30. They have located a severe thunderstorm, or I'm sorry, 7:30. They have located a severe thunderstorm located over Fort Belvoir, I believe is how you pronounce it. It's moving northeast at about 25 miles per hour, radar indicated, and they are saying about 60 mile per hour wind gusts. So that's the newest warning that just popped up.
Okay, so we do have that active severe thunderstorm warning. Then this does include portions of Alexandria into the district and Prince George's County. So we'll have to watch that closely. Again, this goes until 7:30. That's for this cell right here, just north of Alexandria, stretching along I-295 as well, moving up past the National Harbor. So again, this will be packing a bit of a punch for those trying to get out for their Friday night. But that is not a tornado warning, just a severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 7:30 p.m. But plain and simple, we're starting to see this move into the district. Brittany, what else do you have?
So we actually do have another severe thunderstorm warning that just popped up. This one, though, is for Montgomery County, as well as Anne Arundel County, Howard County, and parts of Prince George's County. Let me make sure that the radar is up just so you guys could see it. So they're talking about this cell located right now over Foxhall. This is also set to expire at 7:30. It looks like winds gusting upwards to about 60 mile per hour. We could also see some quarter-size hail with this storm. It looks like this storm is moving over Kent Mills or Langley Park, Maryland, moving east at about 20 miles per hour.
Okay, so we have some active severe thunderstorm warnings coming in at this point. We'll have to keep an eye, and as these will likely intensify as we move into the later evening hours. It's going to be a bit of a long night, going to be a bit noisy across the DMV, folks. So again, quick recap. We do have 2 new warnings. They're just severe thunderstorm warnings, but still we need to be paying close attention as these will be packing gusty winds, hail, and that torrential rain. This is out over Montgomery County right now, just north of Kensington into Foxhall. This is starting to cross then over into Prince George's, and parts of Howard County are involved in this warning as well. No hail, at least on that initial scan, but the tracker shows that there has been plenty of hail with this storm back toward Bethesda and Foxhall. This warning goes until 7:30 p.m. We're not looking at any sort of rotation with this as of yet, but we'll be watching very closely, and then we'll slide back down and show that last warning too that is over parts of Alexandria, and this is showing a little bit of a hook on it. I don't like to see that. We'll have to watch closely as it makes its way across the Potomac River, but it's moving into Fenwick, Cactus Hill, Mount Vernon, seeing that, and up toward Fort Belvoir we're seeing that impact as well, and that's a bit concerning, Brittany. I don't like to see when we have those reds and greens coming together.
Yeah, I don't like to see that either, and I did check the chat. They're keeping a close eye out on this storm right now, meaning the National Weather Service keeping a close eye out on this storm because they're seeing what me and you are seeing right now, Damon, on velocity. So when we see the greens and the reds coming together, that is some indication of us possibly seeing that rotation. When they come really close together, we call that a couplet.
There it is. No, so they just put it out.
Yep, I was about to say they just put it out. So let me, so it looks like this is for Prince George's County, Maryland, Fairfax, Charles County. This is set to expire at 7:15. Again, it's a tornado warning that has now been issued for those areas because of that couplet that me and you, Damon, were just talking about. Right. This is radar indicated rotation.
Okay, let's zoom back down, Brittany, if you can. Take me in where this rotation is at. Again, this just got issued here. We have a new tornado warning until 7:15. This is just across the river. This is right along the Potomac, as a matter of fact, just outside of Mount Vernon and Alexandria, and this is starting to cross into Maryland. So right now, this is where we could have a possible tornado on the ground. This is right along Fenwick Road, just outside of Fenwick there, River Road, not too far off as well. And this is going to be pushing north and east. Let's zoom out just a little bit. I want to point out some of the areas because this is a very heavily populated zone in Prince George's County. So there's Mount Vernon. This is right where the river is. Right here is the Potomac River, and this is a part of Prince George's County. As you push off to the north, you start getting up toward Fort Washington. This storm is going to be rolling toward you here within a matter of, I'd say, about 5-10 minutes. So a little bit quicker than what our system's showing here, perhaps 7:05. We could be seeing the impact of this tornado warning. There's Maryland Route 210 along Indian Head Highway. That's where this storm is going to be heading next. And then you start to get up to the north and east. You have Friendly. That's one location that could be impacted as well. Fort Hunt is just off to the north of where this possible tornado is. And the National Harbor is not too far off either. And Interstate 295 is a little bit more to the north. So we have to watch all of these areas. Brittany, let's zoom back out a little bit more if we can. Let's show where we could see this. There's Oxon Hill. Let's give everybody a sense. Alexandria is right here. We have Oxon Hill, Camp Springs, and right now this tornado warning is just south of all of these areas. But this area of rotation, it's going to keep on moving off to the north and east. It's right along the shore of the Potomac as we speak, but as it continues, it's going to move more and more inland, but there is that possible area of rotation. So this is the latest tornado warning, folks. Again, we've been on the air for the last hour or so. We were watching one storm out in parts of Virginia. Now this is starting to look nasty, Brittany. That is a classic hook.
I was going to say there's that classic hook, that V shape that I just circled for you. That's indicating some type of rotation right now in the atmosphere. And like you said, very populated area. It's a Friday night. People are either on their way home or starting their Friday night plans. So if you are just tuning in, we do have a tornado warning that's in effect for Prince George's County, as well as parts of I don't know why I'm blanking. Prince George's County has a tornado warning, and it looks like another tornado warning, Damon, has just been issued into our newsroom. So I'm going to zoom it out. This one now for Montgomery County, that storm that we were just talking about earlier in just a few minutes ago, actually, and it looks like that storm is also showing a bit of a hook echo as well. Yeah,
I'll let you catch up on that warning here, Brittany. Let's dive into this a little bit. So we have a new tornado warning that was just put out for Montgomery County that goes until 7:30 p.m. Right here is that cell, and where we could have that possible area of rotation, the reds and greens coming together. It's a little bit displaced on our radar, but if we're looking at reflectivity here, right near Kemp Mill, Chestnut Hills Fairway, this is just off the Beltway in parts of, I believe we're in Prince George's County, Montgomery County as well at this point. So this is right along the county line for the most part, but this is going to keep on moving up through Kemp Mill, White Oak, East Springs Brook. If you know anybody in these locations, you need to tell them to take shelter immediately. If you're in one of these locations, you need to find your safe place. And right here, this is where we'd have a tornado possibly on the ground, right near Kemp Mill and Chestnut Hills. Again, this is just north of the Beltway, right near Fairway. So this is where we could have that possible tornado on the ground. We have this classic hook going on anytime we see that. And yeah, there's also hail, there's also gusty winds involved, but now we're starting to see this pick up here, folks. This is why we had that tornado watch issued. We are seeing multiple warnings at the same time at this very moment. So this is the latest one. It goes until 7:30 p.m. and there you go. Look at how far out this goes. And I guess, Brittany, we have a third one.
We do have a third one that just got issued. Let me put on reflectivity for you. And it looks like this one is now in place for Fauquier, Prince William, as well as Loudoun County, Virginia. So, Damon, it looks like we do have about 3 tornado warnings in effect across portions of the area. So I'm going to zoom into this storm so we could talk about this storm.
Okay, got it. And yeah, so we have those 3 active warnings at the moment here. And folks in the back have live cams for us. Anytime you want to pull those up, just pop it into my ear. Let me know what we're looking at again, if you can tell me. I know we're trying to keep track of all these different warnings at the moment. But again, this is looking out at one of our tornado warnings that we do have going on. I believe that's the Beltway on the other side of the screen there. Very busy. I think that's the main point we want to emphasize here, folks. This is why this is extremely concerning. We have a lot of people out. It's a Friday, and we are having a lot of people traveling as these active tornado warnings are going on. So please, if you're watching us, if you're listening to us and you hear a shout out any of these locations where some of your family members, friends may be traveling through, get a hold of them. If you possibly can, tell them to get inside as fast as possible and try to seek some shelter. So here's that latest warning. This was the same line that was producing a warning in Virginia just a short time ago. We have yet another active tornado warning. This is where that active area of rotation could be just south of Delaplane, off of Route 17, just off of I-66, but this is just moving across Ada and Hume Road, and it's about to move over toward Marshall. Marshall, right off of I-66 there. You are right in line for this storm. You have about another 5 minutes or less to get into your safe space. So Marshall, be aware this area of rotation is moving right toward you as we move ahead here over the next 5 or 10 minutes. So a heavily populated section of Fauquier County off of I-66. We're going to see this moving through Piedmont Heights. You're also right there in line for where this possible tornado could be moving through. So this is one warning we're watching. This one goes until 7:30 p.m. Brittany, let's zoom back out again. I want to go back to the other 2 warnings we have in effect. We have multiple tornado warnings going on right now, folks. So we're going to keep you informed on all of them as we continue forward. The other 2 we have are close to the district at this point. Here is our one down toward parts of Fairfax, mostly Prince George's County, though. This is now totally crossed the Potomac River. This is in parts of Charles and Prince George's County. This is moving up toward Bryan Point. Fort Washington, you're in this tornado warning that goes until 7:15. So we have another 15 minutes on this warning. Right here, we have the greens and reds coming together. This is where our possible tornado would likely be, near Strawberry Hills Estates, Bryan Point. And again, this is moving off toward Fort Washington, Riverview, Maryland, Route 210 near Chapel Hill. And we'll have to watch this as it moves north and east. Accokeek, Auburn. We're also involved here in this tornado warning, so we're keeping an eye on this. Indian Head Highway is right here along Maryland Route 210. That's just off of where this possible tornado is. And let's check in on that one up in Montgomery County. That's our third active warning that we're watching very closely. We don't have any tornado warnings in the district, but just outside we have these warnings in place. Here is that third warning. Again, this does include parts of Montgomery, Prince George's, and also Howard counties until, I believe, 7:30 p.m. if we pop that warning up. But here's where that possible tornado could be. It is just south of Gray Estates, over toward White Oak, Burnt Mills Hills as well. We got a lot of torrential rain coming down through Colesville, Burtonsville, and Fairland as well on the northern extent of this supercell thunderstorm. And again, we have to watch this area of rotation. Brittany, if we can show velocity, I don't know if there was any good signature there. It looks like it's a little bit muddled here, but at least on reflectivity, we're seeing that hook showing up. So that's where we could have that possible tornado on the ground.
Yeah, you know, I put on, let's see if I put on the shear swath. So this storm does show that history of rotation right there as you head right along. It looks like 495. No, that is White Oak, Maryland. So again, if you are in this area, if you hear our voice just tuning in, we do have a tornado warning in effect for Montgomery County. This is set to expire at 7:30. You want to make sure you get to the lowest spot of your house. That could be a basement. If you don't have a basement, then make sure to get into an interior room because these storms are really packing a punch. Right now, across much of the area, we are starting to see an active Friday night across the area. Not only does this storm have the potential of producing a tornado, but it also has the potential of some gusty winds. The storm also has a hail history as well. So that's something we are keeping our eye out on. Damon, if you want, I'll put back on reflectivity, and if you want to talk about the rest of the storms that we are seeing across the DMV.
Yeah, let's give a wide scope of things here, but I know in the back, Nat, our producer, you have another camera for us along the Beltway near the Maryland-Virginia line. Again, we have these three active tornado warnings that are ongoing across the DMV, and parts of the area aren't seeing any of these storms. They're scattered enough, but things are fairly active in most locations. And again, this is just off the American Legion Bridge. This is just off to the western side of the Beltway there, west of the city. No thunderstorms there, but this is why we are concerned moving into the evening, folks. We know what day it is. It's a Friday, and a lot of people, whether you're getting off of work or you're just trying to go out for your weekend plans, trying to travel outside the area, we have some very busy roadways. We always do here in the DMV, and when we have this many storms, this many tornado warnings, that is concerning. So again, here's that wide view. We have clusters of thunderstorms crossing the DMV. Many of them are showing signs of rotation, and we do have three active warnings I want to show. Here's the district, and at the very moment we have one warning to the south right along the Potomac, just crossing into parts of Charles, Prince George's County. We have another that is through Montgomery into northern Prince George's, Anne Arundel, and Howard counties, all included in that warning. And then we have a third that is out over Virginia. The same line that was producing a tornado warning about an hour ago continues to, and this is now starting to push across I-66 into Loudoun County. So Brittany, let's zoom back down. I want to go down to that cell just south of the district, and I want to talk this out again. I want to point out more of those locations that could possibly be impacted. Let's slide back to the east if we could here. I want to talk about that storm near Alexandria if we could. That's one of our active warnings in Virginia, but there we go. There's that cell that is just south of the district, just south of Alexandria and the Beltway, but this is the tornado warning that is in effect mostly across the Potomac, just out of Fairfax County now. Mount Vernon, Fort Hunt still involved within this warning, but we're starting to see this move up into Chapel Hill, Friendly, National Harbor's right off of this tornado warning as well. And there's the Beltway right along Route I-495 near Camp Springs, and there's that possible tornado. This thing is still showing a bit of a hook, not just on reflectivity, but also on velocity, and that is where we could have a possible tornado making its way right through Bryan Point, and we'll have to watch as this moves on toward Chapel Hill next. It's been pretty much holding its act together, and that is not a good sign. We could have that possible tornado on the ground. So again, this is just outside of the district, moving into Prince George's County as we speak. So we'll be keeping an eye on this closely as it moves toward Indian Head Highway. Brittany, do we have any updates from the National Weather Service?
So the newest update from the National Weather Service is they canceled the tornado warning that was in effect for Charles County. So Charles County, you are no longer in that tornado warning. However, Prince George's County as well as Fairfax, you guys are still in that tornado warning. So if you're just tuning in, we do have that tornado warning in effect for Prince George's County as well as Fairfax. That is set to expire at 7:15. So roughly 10 minutes still of this warning in place. If you are hearing my voice, make sure to get down to the lowest part of your house. That could be a basement, or make sure you are in an interior room. You want to protect your head from any flying debris because some of these storms could be producing a tornado. So overall, very active as we are heading through the Friday night. Another storm, Damon, that I really wanted to pay attention to is that storm off into Montgomery County. This tornado warning storm, this is the latest scan, and Damon, what's kind of getting me right now is this storm is about to make its way along 95. So if you are in North Laurel, you're in Mayweather, this storm making its way into your area. This storm also had a history of hail. So I'm actually going to put on rotation, Damon, for you just so you could kind of see what's been going on.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I was just, yeah, thank you, Brittany. I was just listening to Nat in the back. It looks like we have another camera we could pull up just off of 95 near Springdale. And look at that. The rain is slowing everybody down. We don't quite have that tornado warned storm there yet. But again, this is not a good combination. We have a lot of people on the roadways in the path of some of these tornadic storms. And unfortunately, we just had about a year ago this same situation sort of unfold. We had multiple tornadic storms roll through as everybody was trying to get their way home on a very busy evening in early June. And here we are again at the end of May, and we have these multiple tornado warnings with a lot of people trying to start their weekends out on the road. So hopefully, again, this is why we're here. This is why we are staying on until all of these warnings drop, because we want to make sure we keep as many of you safe as possible. If you hear us shouting out these locations, get into your safe place if you are in these locations. And if you know somebody that's in these locations traveling to some of these towns and cities across the DMV, get a hold of them, text them, call them, and let them know that they are in the path of these dangerous storms. So like Brittany was mentioning, this is that cell over parts of Montgomery and now moving into Prince George's, Howard counties that's moving toward the I-95 corridor, that very busy highway at this time of the day on a Friday especially. And look at that. We have all of this torrential rain even involved with this tornadic storm through Burtonsville, Fairland, and it's eventually going to move through Calverton, Mayfair, and back up into Laurel next in line. But Brittany, there's the latest scan. Do we have any update here on that area of rotation where we had that possible tornado? Is there anything showing up on the velocity signature?
So I just put on base velocity, storm relative velocity. Doesn't really look like we're seeing too much, but that brighter color does indicate some gusty wind. So let me pixie query it for you to see what radar is kind of estimating those winds.
41, there's likely some 50-mile-per-hour gusts in there. So yeah, if we're seeing any rotation, it'd be down here toward White Oak and possibly just outside. I can't see those towns very well here, but just outside of Fairland, that's where we would have that possible tornado. If there is one, we have those reds and greens coming together, but just outside of that, I mean, you have those light greens that are showing up. Gusts of 40, 50 miles per hour. So multiple threats are continuing here, and that is just north of Calverton there. And yes, we do have Hillendale, Oakview, White Oak is where that possible area of rotation is. And there you go. It's right where the Beltway and 95 come together. Very, very busy location right there. And this tornado warning in Montgomery County goes until 7:30. Now we have multiple warnings going on right now. If we can, we should go check out that one in Virginia. We have one tornado warning just south of DC in Prince George's Dutchess County. We have this one in Montgomery. And then there we go. We have this third tornado warning that was put out. Again, very fluid situation here, folks. We're trying to keep up with all the different information that's coming in with these multiple warnings. But we don't want to forget out here toward parts of Fauquier County, drifting soon enough into parts of Loudoun County. This tornado warning goes for another 20 minutes until 7:30 p.m. And here is that cell that is at least had a history of producing rotation, possible tornadoes all the way back to the I-81 corridor in the Shenandoah Valley. This is right over Frogtown at the moment, just north of Marshall. We have some heavier rain near Atoka as well, but at least at the moment, this is starting to show a little bit of weakening. It's had that fluctuation throughout, but there's our latest scan, and either way, this is still packing a punch with those very strong winds, the heavy rainfall, and the potential of that rotation as well. Brittany, can we flip over to velocity and try to check out as this moves toward Rock Hill and Middleburg? Yeah, it's a little bit more broken up at the very least right now. So that at least is a good sign, but we don't want to discount this storm with the history it's had of producing some rotation out there.
Yeah, and you know what, Damon? It looks like we just got a new tornado warning into our newsroom. This one in King George's County, Virginia. So let me just slide down. Here it is right there. And this looks like a hook as well. This is set to expire at 7:45. So I'm going to see what they are saying right now on the chat. Let me circle that hook echo.
So this is now our fourth active warning, folks. So again, this is just how fluid this is. We have these multiple warnings we are trying to keep up with. And this one, yeah, likely right there, just drifting across King George County. And Brittany, does that extend into Charles County? I'm not sure if they put it across the river or not.
So it's kind of hard to tell, but as of now, Damon, from the chat, it's just King George's County in central Virginia. And it does say that that severe thunderstorm warning capable of producing a tornado is actually over King George, moving northeast at about 25 miles per hour. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts could be seen with this storm as well. All radar indicated.
Okay, got it. So
and we do have another tornado warning that just popped up.
All right.
So if you want to talk about this one, then we could go to the next one if you want.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let me know when you want to go over there. I'll talk about this here. Again, this is our fourth active warning. We now are up to 5, it sounds like, but here we go. We have that area of rotation in King George County, just outside of Osso, Arnold's Corner, moving up toward Ambar as well. And some of the roads I'm going to shout out here are Kings Highway, stretching up toward Dahlgren Road, right in Arnold's Corner. That's where this possible tornado is on the ground. So if you are in this portion of King George County, you know anybody there, let them know. They need to start taking shelter. It's already on top of Arnold's Corner, but this will continue to move north and east off of Route 3 and stretching over toward the coastal part of King George County up toward the Potomac River. But either way, this tornado warning goes until 7:45 p.m. for King George County. So you're seeing the extent of these warnings. It's 7:12 right now. By the way, you're watching DC News Now at 7 p.m. We are here in live tornado coverage across the DMV. We have multiple tornado warnings ongoing. The threat of tornadoes has been with us throughout the evening, and we're just now starting to see this really ramp up. And Brittany has just zoomed up. Where are we at here, Brittany?
So now we are in West Virginia. So this is the eastern panhandle of West Virginia. This does include Morgan as well as Berkeley County. This is set to expire at 7:45, and it does look like a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was actually located over Greenwood, West Virginia, moving northeast at about 25 miles per hour. Again, this is radar indicated, so the National Weather Service did put a severe thunderstorm warning for this cell, and now they have added that tornado warning for this cell, and that's because we are seeing a bit of indication of some rotation there on reflectivity. So if I put on velocity for you, just so we could kind of see, we are starting to see some of that reds and greens coming together, and kind of just zooming in, Damon, for some of the areas that might be impacted. It looks like Winchester Grain Road, you could be impacted by this. McLean or McHenry Lane, you could also be impacted by this as well.
Okay, got it. So that's our fifth warning active now, and this is out across the eastern panhandle. It looks like it's drifting across through parts of Morgan and Berkeley counties.
Yes.
Right along that line. Okay. So
and it does look like we are starting to see some trees fall down. Some storm reports are slowly starting to come in right along West Virginia. A few trees down around Ford Hill Road in Hampshire, Virginia.
Okay, got it. All right, so that's our fifth active warning, and if we can, Brittany, let's zoom back out. There's a lot going on here, folks. We're keeping up with all of the latest, and we do have a camera too from our folks in the back. If you want to pull that up, it's I-495 South in Alexandria. That is not good to see right there. Even outside of these tornado warnings, look at that torrential rain coming down. It is slowing down everybody, and there are a lot of people on the roadways. That is very concerning given how active this is, and we have the potential of multiple tornadoes on the ground with these warnings. So not good to see that. Hopefully everybody can get to a safe place if they are out in this right now. And again, we are talking about 5 active tornado warnings at this very moment. Look at how active our radar currently is across the DMV. We have clusters of severe storms spinning away across the region here. We've been watching one line in Virginia, another cell up in parts of West Virginia, and now we have these multiple tornado warnings just north and south of the district. So at the very moments, we have 5 active tornado warnings. 2 of those close to the district, others on the far western and southern edges. So here we go. We're going to go one by one. Once again here, let you know what's happening. Here is that tornado warning that is out over Prince George's County. It has been trimmed back across the river at this point, but nonetheless, this cell
Like it is a new tornado warning that they just issued for Prince George's County.
New tornado with this cell right here?
With that cell right there, this is until 7:45 located over Fort Washington.
Okay, so there we go. This is a new warning. They did extend this in a way then to keep up with this storm. And yeah, it goes until 7:45 p.m. And there you go. This cell is situated right over Calvert Manor and down toward Acco Park. And this is moving off to the north and east. Clinton Hills, Tippett, Friendly. You're in some very, very heavy rain at the moment, but the area of rotation not quite to you yet. It's along this southern edge of the storm is where we've been tracking that possible area of rotation. So if you hear me shout out your area, you still have a few minutes. If you're not in your safe place yet, try to get down into that basement, into an interior room of your home. There it is. There's where that tornado could be.
Yep,
right there.
Right there. That was the latest scan into our newsroom.
Yeah, that is not good there, and that is right together.
That is a good couplet that we are seeing right now.
And it's actually on the other, it's on the edge of this tornado warning.
Yeah.
So, hey, can we slide over a little bit then? I want to see, we've got to watch.
I'll zoom in as well to see if we could get some of the locations that might be impacted about it. So it looks like Floral Park Road, Dansville Road, Wheelwright Place, and it looks like I think I said Danville Road as well, but it looks like those are the areas that could be impacted.
Yeah, Clinton Hills, Winbrook, just north of where this possible tornado is. It'd be right here on top of some of those roadways that Brittany just shouted out. So likely a tornado on the ground there in Prince George's County. We're watching this extremely closely. Let's zoom back out just a little bit. Again, I want to see a few of these towns off to the north and east that we want to be aware of, because I was shouting out Chapel Hill, but it looks like this area of rotation is a little bit more to the south and east. So over toward Thrift, Bonnywood, back over toward Blandford Village. You all need to be getting into your safe place, and that is not looking good at all. The reds and the greens.
No, coming together like that.
Yeah, that's the area of rotation we need to be paying attention to. Brittany, can we switch over debris tracker? I'm not sure if we're seeing anything getting lofted into the sky. Doesn't look like it.
So it looks like it. No, not at all.
Okay. Yeah, I know that sometimes this can be a bit of a tricky thing to use in these situations, but so far we're not seeing anything on that debris detector. But right there.
There's that hook.
Right there. That's where we could have that possible tornado in Prince George's County. This thing has really strengthened just over the last 5 to 10 minutes, and this is right along Danville Road, and this is moving over toward the Thrift, Bonnywood area. areas. You have another few minutes before it's on top of you. And again, this active tornado warning, 7:45 p.m. at this very moment. So this is the one warning we do have in Prince George's County. We want to pay attention to this, but folks, we have multiple warnings going on right now. So we're just going to slide up to the other warning, one of the other warnings we do have. This is just north of the city. Here's that latest scan for that storm that is drifting out of Montgomery County, and it's more so in northern Prince George's, Howard counties at the moment. This warning still goes for another 10 minutes, 7:30 p.m. No update to this yet, but the area of rotation with this is now right over Fairland and Rolling Acres, it looks like, drifting across that I-95 corridor. The rain is coming down in the Laurel area over toward Mayfair, but again, we're watching very, very closely. And here's our live cam. I believe this Fairland 200 Silver Spring, and this is our weather car potentially, one of our folks. Okay, this is Daniel, one of our reporters here at DC News Now. He's on his way toward that storm, and we're keeping these folks safe. We're keeping Daniel safe, keeping him informed on where to be. Don't want to get them in harm's way, but showing you, look at how dark those clouds are. This storm is intense, and it's causing those problems out over portions of Montgomery County, so I'm sure we'll hear from Daniel here in due time. Thank you for that live camera from our weather car there. And so that's one of the tornado warning cells that we are watching and tracking closely, but we have those additional warnings as well. We're going to slide back over into portions of Virginia, take you one at a time here, folks. This is a very active situation, and here you go. Tornado warning. This now includes portions of Prince William County, northern Prince William County, just outside of the Haymarket area, just north of that I-66 corridor. This parts of this line where that rotation is crossing I-66. It's moving toward Beverly Mill, Antioch, and eventually this is going to move into the Route 15 corridor, another heavily traveled roadway as you start to slide north up toward Loudoun County. And there it is. Brittany's circling that right near Beverly Mill. And Brittany, was this also just updated and expanded?
Yes, I was going to say this is actually a new tornado warning that they just issued, which is set to expire, like you said, at 7:45 this evening.
Okay, so yeah, we have yet another one. So that's just showing the strength of these storms, unfortunately, folks. Once they start spinning, they don't let up, and that's what we are continuing to track here as this storm does make its way right over that very busy interstate and up into northern Prince William and then eventually Loudoun County. So if you are up towards South Riding, Arcola, even over toward Aldi there, right along US 50, you're not in the warning yet, but you should be taking those preparations right now. Try to get inside, try to get into a safe space, especially with this storm holding its strength like it has over the last hour or two, but it is still got to make its way across Route 15, Route 234 as well. So these are some of the locations we're paying attention to. Brittany, can we slide back? So we're going to bounce up to the next warning that was just brought in a short time ago. We're now moving to the eastern panhandle of West Virginia. Here is that latest warning that is put into place, and looks like this is a little bit less intense, but still we're watching this closely. Brittany, do you have any updates with this?
Yeah, I was going to say with the chat for at least this warning, it did say that they are going to continue this warning for Morgan County, West Virginia, Berkeley County, West Virginia. So we will continue to monitor that. It looks like this was in a path near Greenwood, West Virginia, moving northeast at about 25 miles per hour. So again, this is radar indicated for the eastern panhandle of West Virginia. This storm was also producing some heavier downpours as well. So if you are in this area, you see a flooded roadway, to turn around, do not drown. If you know anyone in this area, let them know, hey, this is coming. Now, not only are we seeing that tornado warning in effect for this area, but also a severe thunderstorm warning is in place for the eastern panhandle of West Virginia, pushing all the way out towards Washington County as well as Frederick County, Maryland. Now, as of now, Damon, it doesn't look like anything new has come into the chat, but I'll continue to monitor that. But Damon, this just goes to show you it is a very active Friday night. A lot of people are trying to start start their weekend, but they do need to stay weather aware as we head within the next few hours.
Yeah, so that's just the thing, Brittany, and that's why we saw watches get issued earlier on today in preparation for this, and now we're in the thick of it here as we head into the overnight hours. So if we can, I'd like to go back. I'd like to show where those watches are at, because it's the tornado threat. That's the biggest concern we have, but really quickly, we also have the flood threat as well. But first, here we go. That tornado watch is ongoing until midnight for a large majority of the DMV. It is only in effect until 8 p.m. for some of our western counties, but there you go, folks. Right now, it's very, very active, but we have another potentially 4-5 hours of this extremely active setup ongoing into the night. And there you go. At last count, we have those 5 active tornado warnings going on across the DMV. And then real quickly, let's flip over. Let's show that flood watch, as we do have the threat for heavy rain. It's been our main concern here throughout the month of May. We've had such soggy conditions, and with all this heavy rain coming down again, flooding should not be underestimated. That flood watch goes all the way into Saturday morning, 6 a.m. for many of us. So that's just keeping you posted on those watches. And again, we have the whole team here. Myself, meteorologist Brittany Ward, meteorologist Jackie Layer is also here, and we are tracking these multiple tornado warnings. Now, let's drift back, Brittany, again, showing the wider view. We do have all of these storms, and I don't like to see this. We have multiple of those with the hooks ongoing as we put it into motion here, and this is what we were very concerned about. These thunderstorms are each getting into their own environment. They're starting to get that rotation. So let's dive down. Brittany, what's the latest here? Do we still have that active warning in Prince George's County? That thing was really kicking not that long ago.
We still have that active warning there, so I'm actually going to zoom down just so we could talk about that into Prince George's County. If you are just tuning in, we do have a tornado warning right now in effect until 7:45 for Prince George's County.
Yeah, and there it is. I mean, this thing still has a well-defined hook, so we're going to really check this out now. Again, this is moving right there. Brittany just circled it. It is drifting across portions of Prince George's County there. That hook has really started to come together, and when we have this shape going on, that is not what we want to see. And this is on the edge of the warning here. The main area of rotation is near Thrift, Bonnywood, Blandford Village. Blandford Village not technically in the tornado warning, but that is unfortunately where we have this area of rotation. But regardless, this warning goes until 7:45, another 20 minutes, showing how long this could last. And if I scoot over here, and I'll point out where this rotation is headed, it's going to move past Blandford Village, and if it keeps on its current track, places like Rosaryville, also toward Cheltenham, Maryville, there it goes.
There you go.
Right there. The National Weather Service caught on, and we got it. We have a new warning. Yep, it goes until 8 p.m. for Prince George's County. And notice how it is sliding a little bit more east. So, Clinton, I know you're still under a tornado warning right now, but it looks like the area of rotation is going to move past you. So I want to say you're not totally in the clear, but places like Tippett, Clinton, you're starting to look a little bit better, no doubt. Same with Oak Lawn, you're in the warning, but you do not have to be as concerned. But here we go. Moving off to the east, I'm going to shout these places out again. If you are here, you need to get into these safe places, into the interior part of your house, get into a basement, get a helmet or something to cover your head from flying debris. But we have these locations: Blandford Village, Clinton Acres, down toward Gwen Park, Cheltenham, up toward Rosaryville, right along Maryland 301. That's where we're going to start to see US 301. I apologize. We're going to see this drifting off to the east. This tornado warning goes until 8 p.m. for this part of Prince George's County. And all of these locations, you are under the gun with this coming your way. So again, we are wanting to let you know you have another 5-10 minutes. Just get into that interior space. Just listen to us. Turn up the volume on your TV or phone, whatever you have us on, and just listen to us. Get to that safe place and try to take shelter as fast as you can. So yeah, Brittany, this velocity is just not letting up.
Yeah, I'm not really liking what we're seeing right now on radar. So yes, if you are just tuning in, we do have have a new tornado warning in effect for Prince George's County that's set to expire at 8 p.m. And we are seeing some indication right now of rotation in the atmosphere. So if you are out towards Blandford, and that's the latest scan coming into the newsroom, Damon, it does look like it's still moving northeast out towards Clinton Acres. I believe that is Route 5 and Route 373. This will be passing over into that area, eventually making its way over to 301. So if you're just tuning in, if you are in Prince George's County in the Clinton Acres area, right along 373, you want to make sure that you are getting into your safe space. Damien, this is a very active weather pattern that we are seeing right now on this Friday night.
Yeah, definitely, and we have now 5 active tornado warnings. Again, myself, meteorologist Brittany Ward here, and we have meteorologist Jackie Layer on links too. I'm not sure if we have you pulled up at all, Jackie, but do you have anything on one of the tornadic cells that's out there right now?
Right, so I know that you guys have been discussing this newly released as tornado warning in Prince George's County. They also canceled the previous one, but we'll see that pop up on our map shortly. But yes, that one in Prince George's County, that goes until 8 p.m. So you still want to make sure that you're taking that very seriously there, as we do see that signature on the map. We also have this other tornado warning that's in northern Prince George's County, parts of Montgomery County, right around the North Laurel area, Burtonsville. Those 2 areas we're dealing with that. But if we switch back over to we do have a live cam over towards Montgomery County if we want to show that on the screen as well. We have Daniel, who is in the weather vehicle at this point, probably driving upwards to where the system is or where this current cell is. But I mean, on the map, we're talking about heavy rainfall, torrential rainfall at that. You can see those windshield wipers going. You can see in the distance that thunderstorm cell, at least some brightening in the distance. But yes, very dark clouds at this point. We could even be dealing with some hail. I know on the map, right around Fairland, we are seeing some of the purples on the map. So whenever I see that magenta color, I typically have an indication that there could be some hail that we could be dealing with this system. But if we go over to velocity, keeping a close eye on the area, we're seeing a little bit of that green, a little bit of those reds coming together. I know Damon and Brittany have been doing a really great job circling where those are. So right now, I don't see a defined area. It was something, I would say, about 30 minutes or so ago, but still, nonetheless, we could be dealing still with those strong winds as well as that heavy rainfall like we were seeing on that live camera there. But it looks like they're driving out of it for now. But as we zoom on out, let's also take a look more so at another tornado warned cell that's back over towards the plains, and that continues to move its way north and east at this point. I know Damon and Brittany have been looking at that one as well. This one goes until 8 p.m. as well. So I just want to pause this map just to show you. Yeah,
it looks like it's starting to move toward Route 15 there a little bit,
yeah.
Jackie. Kind of moving more north than the other cells we have in Montgomery County, at least.
Exactly, a little bit more north and eastward over towards the Wolseley area, and that'll move even farther over towards Burns Crossroads too. So we'll continue to monitor that one. But I think the one that is really showing that signature is this one that you guys were talking about as well, over towards Blandford Village and Prince George's County as well.
Yeah, yes.
That one is more concerning.
Yeah,
right. We're watching that closely for sure. Yeah. So we have all these active warnings. Again, all 3 of us are just keeping up with all of these as we move forward. Each one of us trying to keep track of one storm apiece at least. But yeah, these tornado warnings now as we approach, we're just past 7:30. We've been on for the last couple of hours as this active situation just continues to unfold across the DMV. Multiple tornado warnings are ongoing across portions of Maryland and Virginia and West Virginia right now. And a lot of these warnings are starting to be extended until 8 p.m. across these storms. So folks, we're going to stay here. We're going to be with you, letting you know the latest until the threat of these storms is over. So this is the most concerning one that is showing that sign of potentially a tornado on the ground. This is part of Prince George's County, just south of the district, just south of the Beltway, right over Clinton at the moment, and it's starting to move off to the east-northeast over toward Cheltenham and Rosaryville, and this is continuing to move off into the heart of southern Prince George's County. There's our live camera looking out over the White House. Thankfully, we have not had any tornado warnings in the district itself, but that does not mean we are being spared from these storms in the district. Some very heavy rain coming down there. It is not a pleasant evening to be out and about, especially given the fact that it's a Friday when a lot of people are trying to get their weekend kick-started. This is what we are continuing to deal with. And I think another underrated aspect here I want to point out before we dive more into these storms, it's about to start getting dark within the next hour or two. And if these tornado warnings continue and this threat for tornadoes continues, you're not going to be able to see them. It's going to be dark, and those tornadoes will continue to cause some damage potentially. So that's why we're going to continue to track this as we move forward. And Brittany just pulled up the debris detector here. Again, not seeing a lot, but I would not be surprised if something is reaching the ground. We're at least seeing some downed trees, perhaps a little bit of damage out there, because this thing is just looking like a supercell from out across the Midwest. I mean, that hook is just holding strong, unfortunately, there as it continues to move off to the north and east past Acatee Road. So Brittany, I don't know if we have anything further on this, but this is the main cell we're watching as it continues to track northeast.
So I haven't seen any further information about this particular cell, but I do have some brighter news to talk about across the region. It does look like the National Weather Service has canceled the tornado warning that was in effect for the eastern panhandle of West Virginia. They also canceled the tornado warning that was in effect for King George's County, and it does look like they also canceled the tornado warning that was in place for Fauquier, Prince William, as well as Loudoun County. So
That's three? We
that is three, yes.
Okay, that's huge. That's
so,
huge.
Yes.
Okay.
So that is the brighter news. Still do have, though, severe thunderstorm warnings in place for those areas. The eastern panhandle of West Virginia, parts of Fauquier County, as well as Loudoun County. So again, these storms are still moving through. They're still packing a punch, Damon. Not only do we have that threat of tornadoes, but we also have the threat of flooding for this evening. So again, if you are about to be out and about, just make sure that you are staying weather aware. It does look like the severe thunderstorm warning has just been trimmed back off to the north and the east, out towards the eastern panhandle of West Virginia. Still in effect for Washington County until 8 p.m. And it looks like this storm is producing about 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Could also potentially see some small hail with those storms back out to the west. Damon?
Yeah, and Jackie, I think you had something new back for one of these storms?
Yeah, just to also piggyback on what Brittany was saying about those severe thunderstorm warnings that are back out across parts of Northern Virginia. I have it highlighted here on links to that severe thunderstorm warning until 8:15. There were multiple tornado warnings as these cells were continuing to move their way eastward. But yes, now just a severe thunderstorm warning until 8:15. You still want to take it seriously, though, just because the National Weather Service still says tornado possible with this warning that is out. And like Brittany mentioned, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Hail could be less than a quarter size. So we're talking right around Loudoun County, just to the west of Ashburn. You can see the leading edge of this as I zoom in right around Circleville and also over towards Dover. And this is right along US 50 as well, and over towards Middleburg. Middleburg, it looks like you are in the clear now. It looks like the heaviest of that rainfall just to the east of there. And this will continue to move its way eastward and over, even could continue to move over towards the Ashburn area and even over towards Sterling. And then this could also continue into Maryland as well and over towards Montgomery County too. So again, a lot of activity going on, even in Virginia, although we do not have any of those tornado warnings in effect in Virginia at this point. But yes, still keeping a close eye on those 3 other tornado warnings that are still in effect across parts of Maryland right now.
Well, if anything, too, I mean, as we've seen through these storms over the last few hours, even once those tornado warnings are dropped, they could start to rotate again. And that's where we could see more tornado warnings get issued. So we do not want to let our guard down, especially given the fact that we have tornado warnings right now in parts of Maryland, that we could see additional storms to the west there in Virginia rolling on in, and that's where we could have more issues before the next few hours are over with. So that's why we're staying on here, folks. We're going to continue to stick with you until this threat has passed. But here you go. Again, you have those multiple severe thunderstorm warnings to the west. We'll watch as this line of activity moves toward Frederick, Montgomery, through Loudoun counties as well, up toward northeastern Maryland. But here we go. I want to dive back in. We do have these 2 active tornado warnings. That is the reason we are still live on the air here. We're sticking with you. Again, you're watching DC News Now at 7. It's about 7:38 local, and we are still dealing with 2 active tornado warnings at this moment. This is the most concerning cell that we are watching as it starts to cross US 301, and it's heading right into the Rosaryville area. There's that defined hook with this supercell and this possible tornado that's on the ground. It's had this well-defined hook for about the last 20 to 30 minutes. Not a good sign. And if we switch over, there we go to velocity, you still have the reds and the greens coming right together there, right near Como Road, and now moving over toward Rosaryville Road. Again, US 301. This is about to impact the Rosaryville area. So hopefully by now, if you're in this neck of the woods, you've already taken shelter. If you know somebody that is there, you've been able to get a hold of them. So Rosaryville, this is about to be on top of you, and then it's going to move from there up toward Marlton, Brookridge Manor, Landry, Croom even could see some impacts, and just up the road is Upper Marlboro. There's the timing again here. This thing is moving at a pretty decent clip, so Rosaryville, just a few minutes. Now, if this continues off to the north and east, Upper Marlboro, you're going to be feeling the impacts within about 15, maybe 20 minutes tops as this continues to move forward. Now, we still have that old warning back off to the west here near Clinton, but if that is still in effect, our maps sometimes need some time to update. You're in the clear in the Clinton area. There's still some heavier rain coming down, likely some nearby thunderstorms, but this area of rotation, this possible tornado, is now past you there in Clinton and past the Maryland 5 corridor. Brittany, what do you have?
So I think, Damon, you were just talking about this this tornado warning that's in effect for the Clinton area. The National Weather Service just put it in the chat that they will allow this tornado warning to expire at 7:45. So once we hit 7:45, which is about 5 more minutes, the only tornado warning that we will have in place for Montgomery County is out towards that Roseville area.
Yeah, up toward Rosaryville. Got it. Okay, yeah. So right around that area, we'll have that 1 active warning. So again, we're watching this cell extremely closely over the next, again, 15, 20 minutes as this continues to move up toward the Upper Marlboro area. It's been holding together, and unfortunately, if we do have a tornado on the ground, it is right over Rosaryville. We do not want to see this, folks. This is very, very concerning. I hope everybody was able to take shelter before it got to this area, but there you go. That is right where we could potentially have a tornado on the ground. Can we flip back over to reflectivity really quickly? I want to see if that hook is still present, and yeah, it still is. We usually keep an eye on both the velocity and the reflectivities here on the radar. I mean, either way, you have all of this torrential rain, likely some very strong winds ongoing, but right there, that's where we could have the possible damage happening from that possible tornado. So very concerning. This is going to continue, and I would not be surprised at all if we see this warning extended further into Prince George's County. If we could, let's jump up toward the other tornado warning we still have. We have 2 active warnings we are watching right now. That is the one to the south, and then we do still have this leftover cell that's now over Laurel at this point. It's basically riding the 95 corridor, it looks like here. This tornado warning goes until 8 p.m., and this is now starting to stretch into Howard County. So I don't know if we have anything on velocity here that we could show. This has been kind of in and out over this portion, but there it is. Brittany or Jackie, I'm seeing this area of rotation still try to hold on over the Laurel area.
Yeah, it's really trying to at this point with that cell, and they keep kind of shrinking that tornado warning, following it right along, like you said, right along the I-95 corridor too, Damon. So yeah, right around the North Laurel area, you see a little bit of that circulation here, but not quite as defined as that tornado warned cell that's down towards Rosaryville in Prince George's County. So this one moving closer and closer towards the Baltimore metro area and closer towards Columbia, Maryland at this point. So I would say heads up, Columbia, you could be dealing with that next round of a tornado warning that they could issue with this. But like you mentioned, I don't see that well-defined signature like we had with that other tornado warned cell. But yeah, several other severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing right now, along with multiple tornado warnings. Brittany?
Yeah, so Jackie, just to kind of give a quick update, yes, we still have that tornado warning in effect for Moco as well as Howard County, but it does look like that tornado watch that was in place for our western counties have started to get trimmed down. So if I could just pull that up real quick, it does look like these areas back out to our west will be setting or is set to expire right around 8 p.m., indicating that the tornado threat will be lower in those areas. Still going to be dealing with some severe thunderstorm warnings, though, as we head into the next few minutes. So again, just stay weather aware. Closer to the district, though, along 95, the Beltway, parts of Montgomery County, as well as Fairfax County, that tornado watch is set to expire right around midnight. But Damon, it does look like we still have 3 active tornado warnings in effect on this Friday night. Lots of people are trying to get their weekend started, or even just maybe traveling home late from work, and they're dealing with some strong to even severe storms at this hour.
Yeah, and I think it's good to note that third warning there way off to the south. It's technically not in our viewing area at the moment. There it is, down toward parts of the northern neck of Virginia. But I mean, it could possibly drift across the water and make it over into southern St. Mary's County. So we do need to watch that warning as well here over the next 15-20 minutes. But yeah, there you go. That tornado watch goes until 8 p.m. for some of our western counties, which are likely to be cut down. Like Brittany said, right at 8 o'clock, those watches will be dropped. But this does still go until midnight near the D.C. Metro, because let's take a wider view real quick of the thunderstorms that are rolling on through. This is pretty much the worst of the severe threat here tonight, folks, as we move later into the night and this storm system starts to rotate on through. We'll kick out the severe thunderstorms. Now, there are likely to be some bands of heavy rainfall moving in behind that, as we are seeing out toward the Morgantown area, where they have flood warnings out in parts of West Virginia, southwestern Pennsylvania. That'll be our next concern over the next several hours moving into the overnight. But at least in the immediate here, it's the tornado, it's the severe threat that we've had ongoing for the last 2 hours now, pretty much, and it will continue until all of this rotates out of here. And there you go. We have clusters of storms from western Maryland through the eastern panhandle, and then we do have all of this activity mostly along and east of D.C. at this point with the 2 active warnings. Now, do we still have the, what was that again, Nat? I'm sorry. Okay, we have a traffic cam, I-95 north around Elk Ridge. We're going to show you that here. And again, we are doing our best to keep up with some of these active traffic cameras. We're not always going to be in the heart of these tornado-warned storms, but I mean, this just paints the picture. Look at how soggy it is along those roadways, and everybody is slowing down a bit, but there's still people out and about, so we're definitely paying attention. Jackie, what do you got?
Oh yeah, I was going to toss it over to Brittany because she has it also zoomed in. A new tornado warning.
Yeah, I was going to say, Yep, that tornado warning that we were talking about in Prince George's County has just now been extended into Calvert County, or I'm sorry, Anne Arundel County, Maryland, and this is set to expire at 8:15. Now, it says that the severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was actually near Upper Marlboro, moving northeast at about 25 miles per hour. Again, this is all radar indicated, but Damon, you can see that storm just moving through. Now they have expanded that tornado warning into multiple counties.
Right, and this is off to the north. This is the one that was drifting through Montgomery, correct?
No, this is the one that was drifting through Prince George's County.
Got it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Got you. So we're seeing this again. Yeah, like Brittany just mentioned, we're seeing these warnings. They continue. These storms aren't letting up anytime soon. So we're going to stay on. We're going to be here until all the warnings are dropped. Try to let everybody know to keep everything everybody safe. And yeah, there it is. This was the storm that just rolled through the Rosaryville area. We still have that couplet, that green and red, that area of rotation still coming together across Croom Road, and it's now starting to move off to the north. It's just south of Upper Marlboro, but it's going to be a very close call there. Definitely want to be in your safe place in Upper Marlboro if you can help it. And then there it goes. It's going to keep on moving east-northeast, Mount Calvert, Bristol Landing, over to Rio Vista Plaza. This is the Route 4 corridor. Maryland Route 4 is where it's going to be heading to next. In Upper Marlboro, you'll be feeling the impacts of this potentially within the next 7 to 8 minutes. So definitely be in your safe place right now if you possibly can. And like Brittany mentioned, this warning extends all the way out toward parts of Anne Arundel County as well, pushing all the way to the coastline, as this cell in particular has had a history of just holding together. It's had that defined hook, and there's our latest scan, and it's still
going. It's not letting up at all, Damon. Let me circle the latest for you.
There it is.
Go.
Yeah, so again, this area of rotation is going to continue to push across parts of Prince George's. And was Calvert County involved at all, or is it just
Yes, Calvert County is a part of this new warning that's been issued. So it's Prince George's County, Calvert County, Maryland, and Anne Arundel County until 8:15.
Okay, got it. So we have another, about 30 minutes or so with this warning. So yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on this as it continues to move forward. Can we show reflectivity again?
Yes.
I know that we are watching this area of rotation, of course, but now, especially as we head toward those later evening hours, I mean, this torrential rain, you're not going to be able to see this, folks. I think that's something to note. We have all these tornado warnings, areas of rotation going on, but it is embedded with all of this heavy, heavy rainfall. And even outside of the tornado warnings, we're talking about that possibility of some localized flooding, some very strong straight line wind gusts, and small hail. And look at how that heavier rain goes all the way up. You're starting to get up toward Cheston and Ashley, Maryland Route 2. So this is now turning into a cluster of storms with that very, very heavy rainfall as we continue forward into the evening time. So any further updates, not just with this storm, but have we had anything new with Montgomery County as well, moving into Howard County at this point? I'm not sure if they kept that warning going or not.
That one's still going, Damon. Yes, that one's still till 8 p.m. They just keep shrinking that area, including that tornado warning.
Okay, got you. So they're holding that along 95 through Laurel, and still right near the Laurel area, Glen Oaks, Savage, and that one's moving up toward Ellicott City now, it looks like, as well. So drifting more into the Baltimore suburbs, but still, this is all centric there in central Maryland. We got to keep an eye on it. That tornado warning goes until 8 p.m. over toward Arrowhead, North Laurel as well. Brittany, what do you have?
So we just have that new tornado warning that we were talking about, that storm just south. Now it has moved into Charles County, and this tornado warning is in effect for Charles County as well as St. Mary's County. So that was the storm that we were looking at about a few minutes ago. Let me just put on velocity, excuse me, just so you could kind of see where we're seeing that at this hour.
Yeah, there's that couplet. I mean, it's crossing through. This was the tornado warning cell that was over King George County. It sort of let up for a brief moment, it looked like there, Brittany, but once it crossed the Potomac, it started getting going again. And now we have that tornado warning in Charles County. And it looks like this warning here, it goes until 8:15 for Charles County?
8:15 for Charles as well as St. Mary's County. It does look like the area that this severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is actually located over Pope's Creek, moving northeast at about 25 miles per hour. And again, this is radar indicated.
Okay, yeah, let's blow this up here then, and let's show some of these areas. I want to point out where this rotation is right now and what towns are down the line here. So it looks like that area of rotation is right along. Again, this is US 301. We're now into Charles County. This possible tornado is over the Huckleberry area, just to the south of Faulkner as well. This is about to cross 301 as we we speak. And then as it progresses north and east, let's show some of those towns just upstream from where this area of rotation is. It looks like Allen's Fresh over toward, and I apologize, Wimico Ridge up toward Burkwood Estates, Amy's Acres. So all of these areas coming right along this path is where we could see. And if you're hearing any of your locations, I'm shouting them out here. You know anybody in these locations, tell them to get to their safe place. Again, basement, interior room, away from any windows. Grab a helmet, grab something to protect your head, your body from flying debris, because there it is. That possible area of rotation is holding strong. This tornado warning until 8:15. Burkwood Estates, Deer Park, Amy's Acres, right there next in line to potentially see this impact. And this is right along some coastal areas of Charles County as the storm just drifted across the river into parts of southern Maryland there. So that's the latest tornado warning. At last count, that has 3 active tornado warnings going on across the DMV, all of them in Maryland at this point. We don't have anything else active, at least trying to develop in Virginia that we know of, Brittany and Jackie? Nothing as far as any active tornado warnings?
No, not in Virginia.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Not in Virginia.
Okay, so yeah, we do have these 3 warnings that we're paying attention to. There they are, right across the heart of Maryland. There's the district as we zoom back out. So far, so good. We've lucked out inside the Beltway. We have not had any active severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings, but the district too, the worst of these storms, is now pushing to the east. So that is certainly a good sign. We're likely to be spared the worst inside the Beltway at the very least, but again, nearby locations really getting slammed by this heavy rainfall. And there's our view of the White House, where we just saw a very heavy downpour not that long ago. Hey, we are seeing things drying out, at least for the most part. So again, we do have these 3 active warnings, and we are very much paying attention to that Prince George's County storm. Brittany, you want to zoom down and give a little bit of a breakdown potentially? Are we seeing anything new? Is that hook still holding together? It looks like it's becoming a little bit more scattered at the very least here.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't look like that hook is still holding together, but putting velocity on, it looks like we are still seeing that rotation in the atmosphere. Latest scan coming into our newsroom, looks like it's about to cross over. It looks like Route 4. It looks like Green Landing. You could possibly be in this path of the tornado, as well as Bristol Landing and Mount Calvert. If you're just tuning in, we do have a tornado warning that's in effect for Anne Arundel County as well as Prince George's County. This is set to expire at 8:15. So you want to make sure that you are getting into a basement or even the lowest part of your house. If you don't have a basement, then make sure you are in an interior room. You want to get away from as many windows as possible. You also want to protect your head from any possible debris. Now, not only are we dealing with the possibility of a tornado, but these storms are packing a punch. They are also bringing down some heavier downpours, and now that we're starting to lose that daylight, sun is starting to set across the area, it's going to be hard for you to see a funnel or even a tornado if you were driving right now. So again, if you know anyone in these locations, give them a phone call, send them a text letting them know to get in their safe space. Damon?
Definitely.